Hello everyone, Mr. Doria from the lab scene here. Welcome to a video where I will be showing you how to create Nearpod activities from complete scratch. Nearpod has completely changed how I interact with my students who are remote and hybrid. I hope you enjoy. If you like my video, please hit subscribe, and here we go. So to get to Nearpod, my district allows us to use ClassLink. ClassLink is a virtual desktop that has all the applications and resources that my district has. So thank you to my school district for offering all these amazing applications to help reach our students. So if you see here, here is my Nearpod application. So if you have to log in, or if your district has its own type of virtual desktop, you'll be able to access it. So when you click Nearpod, you're taken to this web page where you'll have all these different folders. These are folders that I've been working on over the past about a year now since the pandemic has happened. On the side here, right underneath join a lesson, that's if you actually want to enter the lesson and participate with the students. You have all these different options: reports, subplans, school library, district library, Nearpod library. So all these amazing tools can be used to just create a quick Nearpod. So let's say you need an idea. You could go click Nearpod library. So right here, Nearpod library. And you'll have all these amazing tools that Nearpod has offered to you. So all pre-made lessons, you could edit them, and that's a whole other activity and a whole other video. But again, Nearpod has many great pre-made lessons. But again, I want to show you how to create your own Nearpod lesson from scratch. So very simply, I'll go to create, and I will click lessons. You could also integrate your Google Slides presentations if you have them, but I usually make my lessons from scratch. So you click lessons, right? We click create my lessons, and now I'll title my lesson. Let's say we could call it, if I'm doing a lesson on cells. And again, you could edit this and come back to it, but just starting lesson from scratch. Add content and activities. So what I always do is I'll click here, and there's all these other different tools here. But again, I'm just trying to show you the basics, how I create a lesson right from the beginning. I'll click slide. Now, after I click slide, you have a blank slide here. And then you'll have all these different layouts that you could pick. So I like to pick layouts here. Let's say you want a title with 2 elements. You have that option. I go back to layout. Title and 1 element. Say we have a title, 1 element. Or you could just have 1 big element. So what I like to do, just as almost like a waiting room, and also just see how my students are doing. Just trying to focus on that social aspect and the emotional aspect that I'm trying to embed in my lessons. I click plus. And then I'll go to images. And I'll click something like, this is just a Google search. So you could type in blank sign. You get all these cool signs, right? And I'll scroll through some that I like, or I try to find ones that are, a little entertaining to get the kids excited about the lesson for the day. Let's see who this guy is. All right, so this, the kids might like something like this. So now I'll leave this here. And then I click save. Now just as a side note, you could also pick other titles to change the colors here. So see, themes. These are the themes. And these themes will be embedded throughout the entire presentation. But I usually just keep the first one. But again, I'll have some sort of activity like this. Just, again, a waiting room. I click save and exit. And now this is my favorite feature on Nearpod. I click convert to draw it. So see this? Now this slide right here, okay, I'm going to convert to a draw it slide. So when I click convert to draw it, Nearpod tells me You are about to create a draw it from this slide. Do you want to keep a copy of the original slide? If I click yes for a copy, my original slide stays there, and I also have a draw it slide. That's if you want to do that. Maybe if you're not sure about sharing the presentation yet, but I usually just keep my draw it slide, and I delete the converted slide, or I'll select no. But the only thing is, if you do that, you can't edit this slide. You have to erase it and restart. Okay. So then if I'm teaching my kids about cells, I'll go to add content and activities. And now Nearpod has all these amazing features. And again, we could make separate videos on this and talk about this for hours. But again, I'm a science teacher, so I'll go to activities and I'll look over here, and I could, as a do now, just try to gauge what my students know. This is called a collaborate board. Okay, so I can enter a topic. Again, this would be edited. And I would say, what do you know about cells? And here, look, if you click the landscape icon, you could put something funny. I usually type in emojis, something fun so the kids get excited to learn. Type an emoji. You could pick this one with the mask, just so our kids know that they always need to wear their mask in class. Okay. And then you could pick different themes for your collaborate board. Again, this is just one feature. Okay, I usually like this one. I like how the colors come off this board. And I click save. Okay, so now I have a collaborate board. Next slide, I'll come here, and again, for my science teachers out there, Nearpod has these really cool 3D models. So we see here, we have animal. This is for staff picks, so thank you, Nearpod people, for those staff picks. But all these different awesome, really cool images that the kids could engage with. So learning about cells, I'll just pick this one as an animal cell. Okay, so now look, I have a draw it, collaborate board, and a 3D model that the kids could engage with. So now let's say I wanted to give my kids some content. I would go to slide. Now you could, let's say you're New York State, where I currently teach in. We have Regents exams, so if you want something specific, you could use these sections of the layout, right, and your slide elements to create content that's geared towards a Regents exam for New York, or maybe if you're from another state and there's a certain objective that you need to cover that aligns with your state or next generation science standards, Common Core, whatever your school uses, you can put that content in here. Well, if you just wanted something very general, I usually go to one element and I'll look for some notes that are already pre-made. And I'll go to an image. And I'll look up, let's see here. You could type in cells and organelles. Let's see here. Nothing came up. Let's type in cells. You might get some pre-made notes that are already here. So just to save you some time, and again, it's just very general if you're making a quick slide. And then again, this is just a Google search, so if you see something that you don't like and you have to create your own, you can do that also. So let's just, for argument's sake, I pick this one, type of cells. And then you'd already have a slide already made. Now again, I teach a Regents course for a living environment, so I have to get creative. And at the end of the day, my students are taking a state exam, so that content needs to be embedded in these slides. But if you need something general, you could find some general information to easily post and save you some time as you're preparing. So I'll go to save and exit here now. Okay. And then one other key feature that I'll share here. Let's say I go to add slide. Now we want our kids to be able to label a cell, right? That's important. They need to know what's inside the cell in terms of those organelles, what they do. I'll go to slide. And then I'm going to pick one element for the layout. So I'll click layout, go to one element. Now, click plus. Now this is when you start getting creative with the Google search embedded in Nearpod. And look at these other features too. That's another video. You could find videos too and embed YouTube videos. And Nearpod actually has some pre-made videos that are already offered, but again, that's another video. But let's click image. And now I'll type blank cell. Let's see what comes up. Again, this is just a Google search. So now you have these awesome blank cells already made for you. So you could pick whichever one you want. Again, if you're teaching a certain subject or in a certain state with specific standards, maybe try to find a picture that the kids would see on those exams. But let's just say, for argument's sake, I pick this one. I click save. Now I have a blank. This is a blank cell now, and I'm going to convert this cell and this slide to a draw it slide, so our students can actually interact with it. So I click save and exit. So now it's saving. Now I click here. Now same thing what I did with my do now. Okay. I'm clicking convert to draw it. And I won't save the slide because I won't save this slide because I just like it so much. Do you want to keep original slide? No. Okay. Now, one more slide I like to put too. So this is, again, look at all our awesome Nearpod features. I have drawits and collaboration boards and a Nearpod 3D. Just to end the short presentation, I'll click slide. Here we go. And I could call this a rate your learning. Rate your learning. So this could be like your exit ticket, and you could title this whatever you want. Again, this is something I would definitely come back and edit. Now, another note here, sometimes these words could get cut off, so I'll actually hit enter. When I click enter, it makes the word, makes our font a little smaller. And then I'll bring this down. Okay, it's a little small, but again, I don't want this to get cut off when I actually have to present the Nearpod presentation. So then I click again here, image. You could type in anything here. You could type in poll. What polls we got? We can even type in learning polls. Again, this is just a Google search. Make sure we spell it right too. Sometimes if you spell a word wrong, it won't generate a search. So I'm looking for a poll here. Looks like we don't have one. Oh, this one actually looks pretty cool. So now your students maybe could write what they were confused with, or maybe they might say that they might express that they know what they like the lesson or question. So you could guide the kids in terms of how you want them to answer this exit ticket. So I click save and exit, and then I have a Nearpod presentation here. Now again, we have to convert this to a drawer, my favorite feature, because I want my students to be able to interact with the presentation. Convert to drawer it. I click no. I feel comfortable with what I created. And now when I click save and exit, my presentation will be saved, and I automatically get taken right back to my Nearpod library. And again, I have subfolders here from using Nearpod every day over the past year. And then here's my presentation. So again, you could access all your Nearpods here, and then when you're ready to share it, you can share it to your students, you can edit, and you can preview. All right, and I will cover how to actually present this short Nearpod presentation in my next video. So I hope you enjoyed that video. In my next video, I will actually run this presentation that I just created in Nearpod, so you could see how a student would interact with it, along with actually sharing out that Nearpod to students who are remote or hybrid, or even participating in your class with if you have class computers available. So again, if you like my video, please hit subscribe, and I look forward to working with you. Again, this is Mr. Dora from the Lab Scene. Have a good day.